Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Cardinals here, co-founder, past trading partners, along with Bob Iacchino. I'm going to keep this one a little shorter today. We can always pick up the slack on Sunday. Feeling slightly under the weather, but I am still here. Hello, hello. Where's the rally? Well, the rally did not materialize. We got absolutely horrible consumer sentiment numbers. 59.7 versus 61.4 inflation expectations, though, coming in 5.4 versus 4.9, and that just started the relentless selling today. You can see here lots of red across the board, just a crazy selling day. What's interesting, though, if you do glance in on the VIX, not up much. I mean, slightly up from yesterday's close, but yeah, a little up from the lows, but that was not a big day. There was just relentless selling. So I had those doubles on there, and those are off the table now with those key close and probabilities with it being slightly lower probability, but still favorable probability, but it was slightly lower because it was against the daily rotation zone, and the daily rotation zone won. So bearish mode, although it's sort of bearish mode longer term with probably choppy mode going in through the Fed meeting on Wednesday. So that's what I'll be watching for. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. So you see outside reversal day. What is an outside reversal day? It's an outside day, so higher high than yesterday, higher high than yesterday, lower low than yesterday, and a close down. And this is actually pretty bearish, just as a pure candlestick when you come off a rotation zone. And then you also get the close below yesterday's low. Now we still have a little time left, so could it pop up still? Yes, but we will double check on that on Sunday. NASDAQ, same thing. Higher high than yesterday, lower low than yesterday, lower close, way lower than yesterday. The Dow, outside reversal day also, but not a close below yesterday's low. So that one held up the best. But if you see down 1.9% at the time of this recording, or a live stream, 1.3% the S&P. Yeah, Russell 1.5, Dow held up the best at 0.88. So we'll go over what I'm looking for on Sunday, the live stream at 3 p.m. Central. But this was just ugly price action. Had to shift to bearish intraday after that consumer sentiment number. We reversed the morning and couldn't hold the key support. And then it was just constant selling, just constant. I mean, if you watch the lower time frames, the 15-minute return to the 15-minute rotation zone, the only potential reversal signal I was watching, there was a potential double that never even came close to triggering, and then turning into a triple, and then we just sold it into the close. I did some reverse harmonics here, and that gave me the full target with the selling in the close. I was actually surprised that we did hit it today, but that gave me 41.93 to about, which was a level already on the screen, but 41.92 to 41.93. So that's how that's selling. Hey, Rich, you're now an expert at trading the NASDAQ. I'm glad you've become a NASDAQ expert. NASDAQ, I also did the harmonics here. Just get back to auto mode. And this, since it didn't really matter whether you use forward or reverse because there's virtually the same lows here. So you could have done reverse here, which gave you, I mean, we're not trying to hit the exact low. It just so happens we got pretty close. Or the forward, 32.80 to 32.84. So just relentless selling. Back below the 62.5. I'm still watching. Again, we have a little 20 minutes left. I'd be surprised if it could rally back above the 62.5 on these couple bars, but I am watching. Stranger things have happened, especially with headlines scrolling by, but just crazy relentless selling. And you see Last two couple times in the rotation zone, rotation down, rotation zone, rotation down. Now it's going to just get interesting with uh, Wednesday being the Fed day, but everybody fully expects the 25 basis point hike. So, and you still got the Russia situation. The DAX outside reversal day, but still managed an up close. So crude still holding that second target, but not able to stage much of a rally, just a pausing area. I'll be looking for a move above. You have this little double. It's actually a triple now in the 4 hour. I'm not going to use it with the double targets, but I will watch for Thursday's high. Thursday's high is going to be the key level for me, coming in at 114.88. So nothing bullish until I get above that, because we could still rotate back down. What else? Gold rallying back a little end of day, but triggering this head and shoulders, but rallying back, but nowhere near any stop out there. And I'm not trading those to the short side. Silver never triggered the head and shoulders. And by the way, I'm not shorting any of these things, because these are levels to watch for a pullback. Here's your notes. 10-year notes still holding on a closing basis at that 87.5, but just trading between here. So we'll see really what happens, because it's going to be interesting. We got options expiration also next week. So next week, Fed day and options expiration. There could be an interesting price action week. We're still in negative gamma mode. So there could be still strong rallies and strong sell-offs due to negative gamma mode, because that means for hedging requirements, it feeds on itself. So if you start getting a big upside rallies that actually start really changing the deltas, you have to buy into those rallies, and on declines, you have to sell into the decline, which also looks like what happened today. So that's where we sit. Let's peek in at Tesla. Tesla broke down from the triangle, and we had that 795 level, sitting at that 795 level where it closed. So Tesla can't, again, not surprising with the NASDAQ sell-off. Let's see here. But we'll go through there what I'm watching for on Sunday also. Let me know if you want me to look at anything else. You know what I want to peek at? I didn't peek at ARK at the end of the day. ARK finished the day with new swing lows. So this 56.26 harmonic, which was tested right here, back to the rotation zone, rotation back down. Again, this is why you don't want to really trade against these rotation zones unless you get a really strong pattern, because you can just pop up, 3-day pop up, rotation down, 2-day pop up, rotation down. And that's just, it's the same people keep coming in. By the way, here, look at this. Look at another interesting chart. And then I'll get to your comments, Sterling. ARK is on pace for a straight month of inflows. So again, people are still going into ARKK. They're still allocating money to it. You still got the dip buying mentality. So January, February, that was still January. We're January, pause, little February, and now even into March. Let's see what Sterling has to say. Just had a conversation with one of my coworkers who thinks we will end the year up 5 to 10%. I just can't see anything on the horizon, especially with current leadership, that will fix any of this. No, and remember, I don't see anything either. And at some point, the markets will bottom before things get rectified, because the markets are forward-looking. So, but that means, again, I have sell signals, long-term sell signals across the board. And at some point, even when stuff is still, the markets will start rallying and actually putting in a bottom at some point, and even before the ship turns around. Okay, so don't be surprised at that, but they're not yet. I don't have any long-term buy signals on the horizon. And it's just a man. I was talking to somebody earlier today that literally they started a lot of people have mixed up investing and trading. Everybody's again become a trader in the last couple of years. I think with the amount of people still working from home, and I'm not just talking younger people. I'm talking people in their 50s who were watching the markets more, working from home, and that they thought they were a trader, and they were like, "Oh, it's the same thing. I'm just buying every dip. We'll still bounce up. I'm just buying every dip." Yeah, it's on margin now, but it's fine because I made all this money last year doing this, and so it's still gonna be fine. And it was like everybody at the 2006 2007 was a house flipper, and everybody I worked with, even and everybody I knew at the end of the 90s and early 2000 was a master trader until they most of them blew themselves up. So we're in that same now. It's like think the same environment. It's actually because I'm seeing all these houses flip again. People are buying 3 4 houses and saying, "Oh well, there's such a housing shortage on the market. I'm going to buy these things and put some renovations into it, and I'll be able to flip them in 6 months." So we're in a combination of the end of the dot-com bubble and the end of another little house, from my perspective, another mini housing bubble. Let's see. Yeah, hey, Wavy, late to the party. Look at S-ARC and ARC. Well, there's ARC, S-ARC, the inverse ARC, SARC, with your continued rally. So, yeah, and that's the way to play it. That's the way if you're short ARC, you just keep playing SARC. Uh, the price is the same. Hold on, wait. So 57.25. Hold on, that's a good point. Oh, the Wavy said the price is the same. So it's 57.25. 50 actually ARC they've crossed. Maybe this is like the death cross for ARC. When SARC is worth more than ARC, it's the death cross. That's funny. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, that's all I do. And besides some educational stuff and running other products or portfolios we have, yeah, that's all I do. This is going to be a game changing day, and there's still money piling in because I was again talking to somebody today, and I'm saying, what are you buying more of? Here you go, Teledoc. Buying more Teledoc. It's going up. Buying more. See, everybody's going back to the well. Buying more Zoom. What else? Buying more well, this should just be delisted at this point. It's going to go back. Buying more. You want me to keep going? Look at AMC's holding that harmonic, but I'm expecting this to just get trashed. I'm expecting this back down below 5 again. And buying more. GME still holding the harmonics, but that's going to break down. This is going to be back to 40 before we know it. What else? Buying some bigger names too. Buying more of this, but look at this with the longer term pattern. It's why I'm not touching it. There's just no great bullish thing here. Buying more of this, and was watching for the return to the daily. By the way, there's this little potential double was off the table that never came close to triggering, but Apple gonna retest its 200 day. Again, it could get another bounce, but I'm not touching these things because longer term, like on Apple, I'm still watching for a much bigger retracement. But it's buy the dip and everything, especially down days, just buy the dip. It's all coming back. And as long as that's the mentality, I don't see a bottom. There's just no fear. And that VIX didn't even reflect fear. There's just orderly unwinding. Today was an orderly selling day. There was a hell of a lot of selling, but it was an orderly selling day. Okay, what's your investment strategy? Sit on your hands every day and just watch the tide rolling. Has been very low stress. Well, that's a very good. Hopefully you have like some a koi pond or some fish to look at every day, and you can keep an eye on that in the near future. Buy more Apple a day. keep the bear away. Well, it's again going back to the wells, going back to the wells, just like Tesla. I heard again today because this person owns Tesla. Tesla's going to be at 1,500 before year end. Uh, okay. You know, that's all I can say at this point. Fundamentals don't necessarily agree with you. In the long term, technicals don't, but you can keep buying it until you run out of money. That's why. That's why at some point we will see a more substantial bottom, but we have no panic bottom yet. Lots of bearish options flow on Apple today. I did not look at the options, so thanks for that information. I did not look at the options in Apple today. But these we got just a lot. What did I type in? We just have a lot of bearish option flow. And if you look here, Apple, longer term, it's almost going to get the rotation zone. So it tried to get this pop up from the last rotation zone here on the weekly. And now it's going to retest this. And then if we get the weekly cross, it's really starts selling the rallies in Apple. So, yeah, we'll get bounces. We could even get some kind of bounce next week. I think next week's going to be a really tough trading week. For more swing. Short term, it's just going to jump on very short term moves from my perspective. Longer term, you know, all my positions are like from the indices side are short. You know, there are some stock positions that we are long, especially commodity-based stuff. Let's see, projected Tesla low. What's mine? Based off fundamentals or technicals? Yeah, we'll get some rallies. I completely agree. We'll probably get strong rallies. I would really like to see a flush out move, then a nice little strong rally bounce back to reposition. Both. Well, technical low is hard, but I could easily, if you had to have me guess, at least short term this year technical low, we could easily see at this 570 area. Retracement 50% from the run up. I gotta take that off, by the way. 50% from the run up. The final target on this big weekly double top pattern. So right in here with this major prior support, I could easily see it getting down there. Fundamental low, I'm closer to around 350. And that's if business doesn't deteriorate. And if business could deteriorate based off of, I think there's a very high probability of a very substantial recession in Europe and the US. And if that hits, the only thing that a lot of these car makers have going for them, including Tesla right now, is that there's such a shortage of cars. So it won't be as bad as normal, but, you know, longer term, I'm still watching. My full targets are down towards this 571, at least from a technical perspective now. All that will change, though, if you get below the 62.5. Get below the 62.5, then we'll keep going for a bigger pullback. Am I still bullish short term? No. Not based off this close. I'm neutral now going into the Fed with long-term bearish. Mike, ES just missed the first target on the 4-hour double bottom. Do you consider that a hit, a miss, or a rollover? That was a miss, and when it can't get to that first target, it's bearish. Because now those are off the table. And I've said that before. When it can't even get to the first target, and there were still decent probabilities in this. The only negative against this was it was against the daily rotation zone. And you see how well, let me pull off some of these levels. Not that one. Hide drawings. There was a running up to the daily rotation zone and rotating down. So We're always looking for other opportunities out there, you know. So yeah, when something doesn't happen at a probability, remember probabilities are not guarantees. When something doesn't happen with a probability, then that's where if you have against the daily rotation zone, it was in the low 60s. So you still had a roughly of about a 38% probability that it wouldn't, although there was higher than the 38, there was higher than a 62% probability that would at least hit the first target. And when that didn't happen, it was it it's never a good sign. I've been trading these things for years, and I'll put that back on. And no, see this, like, all right, let's say we got to 43.37. Would have considered that a hit and then a reversal. This, we got to 43.25. That's substantially off here. So no, that was not a hit. That was a complete miss. So that's why you always manage your probabilities and you manage your trades. And you take your stop outs, and you know when you're getting in a trade where your stops are, and you move up your stops. And then now the only caveat to this is we're back below the 62.5% of this run up, so it favors choppy to lower prices considering Fed on Wednesday. So we'll go into on Sunday. If anybody can join me Sunday afternoon, we'll go into. I want to see how this closes in 4 minutes, and then update all the levels, and then we will go from there. Appreciate all the teaching. Looking forward to the courses. Yep. Thank you, Michael. 4-hour shooting star candle on ES was my short signal today. That this got very bearish, and then once we had I was bearish intraday once the sediment numbers came out. Once these numbers came out at 9 a.m., this was not good at all. This was not good at all. Now I watched for any reversal pattern to unfold in case it could put in a floor, and as I said, I didn't know if you were here, Wavy. The only thing that caught my eye as a potential was this price action in here against this 42.24 level. So we had at some point a potential double, but so I was watching to see if it could get back above this 42.50 area. Never broke, and then it turning into a triple, and then just tanking. Once this happened, then it was target the next major level is 41.93 to the 41.92 harmonic. Now, also keep in mind I'm just going to put this out there because this price action, could you still see snapback rallies next week? Yeah, easily, because you have clear path moves. And this is 15-minute clear path, okay? And here's your 1 hour. Look at this. Look at that. So could you still get strong retracement rallies? Yeah. But this selling again, this was even 5-minute selling pressure this afternoon was relentless. You know, when you can't even return to the 5-minute rotation zone in the S&P, it's weak. It's weak, and you just have to go with it. That's a little thing to keep watching for when you can't even. Here's the NASDAQ 1 hour. So we do have, there's going to be some stopping points behind there. But could you still get rallies? Yeah. But I need a bottoming pattern at this point. We're against the harmonic right now. So, I know what I'm going to be watching for at least starting Sunday night. If we do bounce and if we head lower, then, we have the next major area. We're holding right here at the 75% retracement. See this move up, the 75% harmonic in that projection with a little cluster there. But if we break below there, my next major target is back at 13,200. The 87.5% harmonic in this little floor right there. And then below that, it's 13,100. And next week, Next week we have PPI and Fed. Yes, we do have the PPI. The next 7 days. We'll go through this on Sunday again, but we have we have more consumer inflation expectations. The PPI month over month, which core PPI on the 15th. Is it already that? Geez, time is flying. And you know, we have Fed. We have retail sales on the 16th. There's the FOMC. Okay, coming in on the 16th. Then what else do we have? That's going to really move stuff. You'll have some bit with housing starts and everything else. And then on the 18th, just home sales. And again, now the Feds, they'll start speaking again. Remember, they're in their lockdown period right now, so they can't say anything until they release the stuff on Wednesday. S&P 500 real earnings yield drops below 0. Yeah, I saw that too. So with that, I think I'm going to call it a day. Again, join me Sunday afternoon if you can. What Yellen said, U.S. is not in recession. I remember when Powell said inflation is transitory, and we're not technically in a recession yet. So that is a true statement. And remember, they always assign the recession after. There used to be as Bob's talked about, used to be a harder definition. Now they roughly more assign it when you have 2 quarters of negative growth. But you have 2 quarters of negative growth, and you only know those well after those 2 quarters have happened. So could we technically? I think this could be the first quarter. That's okay. And then the second quarter could be the summer, and then they could come out in the fall and say, yes, we've been in a recession. But as of this time, remember, they don't say it's a recession. You mean and Rich, you mean this inflation isn't transitory yet? And next week will be a good one. First rate hike in years. It's been a while. Okay. Thank you, Michael. All right, I'm feeling slightly under the weather. It's been a long week, and it's going to get cold here again. Wind chills below 0 tomorrow before we finally get a little warmth coming in next week. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to walking the dogs tomorrow morning. But with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and we'll get prepped on Sunday for a very interesting trading week next week. Again, thank you for joining me, and I'll be doing some more thorough analysis on Sunday afternoon. So, by the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. And make sure you check out the video on Sunday. Bye for now.